Hey, y'all. Welcome to Massive Beers, maybe. Yeah, this one's a little bit different. It's a whiskey unboxing. Not that I haven't done whiskey before. I've had a few people send me a Blind Pig whiskey has been sent off. A couple of people have sent me whiskeys in the past. But I've never really I don't know enough about whiskey in general. Like I know enough to be dangerous. I've had my fair share. I am a huge Scotch fan. I'm a huge Speyside Scotch fan. I was lucky enough several years ago to have a friend share infinite and copious amounts of very, very, very good aged Scotch with me. We're talking 50, 60, 70-year-old bottles of Scotch. Yeah, I'm lucky because I could never afford those kind of things. But I've always loved Scotch. My mom was a Scotch drinker. She was a basic Scotch drinker. Nothing wrong with that. Mommy loved the Dewars, but she wouldn't turn her nose up to little Cutty Sark. After she passed, I went in this weird kind of like homage where I really kind of dove into like Scotch whiskey and got really into it. And while I still do enjoy it, beer is my forte. If I go to an airport or somewhere out to eat and stuff like that, and they have a really just a poopy tap list or really no beers involved, whiskey is my go-to. That's what I end up getting, and more specifically Scotch whiskey. Now, American whiskey, bourbon, American whiskey, I'm a little bit less well versed on, but really, if you break it down to the basics, it's all about flavor, and yeah, there's whiskey in here. So just to give you a little bit of insight, a little bit of kind of pull the curtains back kind of thing. If you do stuff on YouTube and you have a decent enough following, listen, BeerTube, Spirit Tube, whatever you want to call it, is a very, very, very small fish in a very large pond. But if you hit a certain subscribership, then you start to get a lot of solicitations. I could show you my phone emails. I get people wanting me to advertise video games or my channel and sleeping bags and air purifiers and all kinds of random crazy stuff all the time. And just so everybody knows what's going on, Ralph, of course, Ralph's here. Islay is the right answer. No, it's not. That peat moss Band-Aid stuff can suck it. Anyway, I get tons of solicitations. Some stuff I actually probably should take advantage of, like, New Air was like, hey, we'll give you a beer fridge. And I was like, yeah, I have a beer fridge. I don't want to mess with that. Or there's some kind of like people sent me like solicitations for like hangover pills and like random, like there was, I'm not beating, knocking on these people, but somebody, there's a person that created a sugar and they put it in a Lagunitas beer and they wanted to send me a beer, but it came with the stipulation of, oh, hey, you have to kind of link to this and mention that. And it's not what I'm about. So almost all these solicitations I just don't really mess with them, But there have been a few. So I had a bottle opener come from Iron Forge Bottle Works, like one of their bottle openers. I thought that was really cool. I'm like, I would use the crap out of this. I will take one of those. Same thing with Trail Keg, it was basically a crowler system, and it was really smartly made. I actually used it quite a bit, and then pandemic hit, and growlers went sideways, and random little things and baubles and bits like that bit into. And then I forget the name of the gentleman that reached out, but the rep from Blind Barrels is the name of the company, if you haven't discerned that from the title yet. Reach out, and there's like a whiskey subscription service. And at first I'm like, okay, I just don't really mess with whiskey, but it's basically mystery whiskey, which is like got me all kind of tickled pink. And it was awesome. Basically, I already know what's in the box. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's basically, you don't know what you're drinking. And that kind of piqued my interest. So I was like, you know what? I don't mess with these things, but send me this off. I'm going to do it. So we're going to dive into the box. I've been talking long enough. Anyway, we're 4 minutes in, and I haven't even cut into this sucker yet. So let's see what's going on here. I kind of know a little bit, did a little research because I didn't want to just say yes to anything. So it's not like I'm going in this completely blind. We'll see. So nice little tight and tidy package. We've got a little bit of letter time. Ooh. Someone who works in the printing industry. Let's say 10-point stock, uncoded. I like it. Lots of words. Let's rip through them real quick. It says, hi, Matthew. Thank you for taking time to experience Blind Barrel's whiskey tasting kit. Our goal is to, with this unique model, is to create distribution and traditional distribution in spirits, in the spirits industry, while showcasing and uplifting the best in small American distilleries. In the end, we're an American small business supporting other American small businesses. Blind tastings are all about discovery. We know that. We love that here. Education and removing brand bias. Very important. However, our model is to focus on craft whiskey and supporting smaller distilleries that are making some amazing, innovative, and delicious products. In the last 18 months, some of our close friends and I have created a blind whiskey tasting subscription that would help remove some of the bias relating to cost, brand, etc. But to put our focus on the craft whiskey industry, not everyone is making amazing stuff, but the ones who do are rock stars in just their area, because distribution often keeps them from getting on store shelves and getting a wider reach. The Diageos of the world, the bigger kind of conglomerates of the world are pretty much kind of like, they're the kingmakers of the world. They are the Johnny Carson, you back in, date myself, back in the 70s and 80s. If you're a comedian and you went on a Johnny Carson show, and he brought you over for a conversation after your set, you're made. You're done. You're there. It's kind of like those whiskey, if you're not a celebrity pushing whiskey, you're not somebody who's like can do those kind of things. You're really kind of just toiling away in your own area. So it kind of makes sense. Our process is deciding the lineups is as objective as possible. We reach out to distilleries doing exciting things in the industry and chat with them about our model. Sometimes they are whiskey producers who produce a product we have enjoyed in the past. Sometimes we have just heard great things about them. Sometimes it's a place we have never heard of before. When we receive samples from distilleries, we test our own preconceptions and taste them blind ourselves. We shut our eyes to the bias. We avoid any assumptions we might have about the liquid, and we select those that pass on rigorous standards. With each batch, we aim to diversify in mash bill and proof level, and only the best in American craft whiskey. I'm excited to see your review on the experience. Please share with my email once it posts on your channel and or social media. Bobby DeMars, CEO, founder, Blind Barrels. It's it's mystery beers. That's why, honestly, it really does kind of like make sense for me, even though I'm not a whiskey aficionado, and it's I know enough to be dangerous, but I also know enough to anger all the people who actually drink whiskey. But with having a semi-pass at whiskey and kind of doing the whole mystery beer thing and kind of growing that on YouTube and whatnot, it just kind of made sense to drink these things, whether it be beer, whether it be whiskey, and without preconceived notion, without any of the bias, all the stuff they kind of put in there. I dig it. I dig the concept. Now, does it work in practicality? We'll see. I don't know if this will work when it comes to beer, but we'll see what's what. So I assume this is exactly what you get when you buy one of these things. Wrapped in plastic. These cost money, man. Like, this is a little top-notchy stuff. You got this matte black gold box. I mean, you're kind of plucking at the heartstrings. You're talking about one of the best color combinations of pretty much everything. It's black and gold, baby. Listen, I'm drinking gold and wearing black. It is kind of very, very aesthetically very fun to touch as a magnet. And this is me, like, this liquid could suck, but I'm going to talk about everything. Like, it's got a magnet. All those things cost money. I'm not going to read all this, okay? But I'll quickly go through it and see what's what. Okay, imagine a roll of flavor. West Coast Mesh. Okay, they're talking about the history of whiskey. Okay, a few things we recommend before going through these samples. Important stuff. Use our tasting table. That would be that. On the back of this card to help guide the experience on picking the aroma, taste, and finish of each whiskey. So you could use this if you want. That's the best part about it. If you're a whiskey, even if you think you know stuff, it'd be nice to kind of use that. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. If a sample has a high level heat level, feels like alcohol percentage, adding water will not only make it more palatable, it can also open up even more flavors. There's a lot of people who would disagree with that. I am not one of them. Then again, I am not a whiskey aficionado. There is a large sect of people thinks adding anything to whiskey is nothing short of blasphemy. It's one of the worst things you could possibly do. I am not one of those people. If I drink a dram of whiskey, if I drink a small pour of whiskey, I'm a fan of, like, when you remember old school, and this is dating myself again, bar ice. You probably don't know what bar ice is because I don't know if it still exists, but ice cubes, they're basically a square, but they're about this big. So maybe an inch by an inch, but they're thin, or probably about a third of an inch or 3/8 of an inch. One of those in a dram whiskey, I'm good. That's how I like to drink it personally. So that's probably what I'm going to do with these. I'm okay with adding a little bit to the whiskey. I'm glad they put that in there. Showing your thing. And it says here we have free whiskey masterclass on tasting mash bill and whiskeys at their website, blindbarrels.com. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't hate this. As someone who's dangerous enough to know, but not enough to know to make people angry, it gives you a bunch of tasting notes. Very nice cardstock. It's like 14-point C2S. Very nice cardstock. Actually, it's probably more like satin. It's actually, yeah, it's satin. It's not even glossy. It could be glossy. Anyway. Massive cardstock reviews. Let's go to the comments before I even go any further because I feel bad because I'm not actually commenting on people. Cameron, what's up? I was surprised to see that news about seeing Liverpool being put on sale the other day. Would you have thought Man United would be first, just with how much backlash everyone's getting? No, Liverpool just don't care. I'm not that surprised. I'm not. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm surprised any sports team goes up for sale because who wants to get rid of something that is worth crazy money? Like the Fenway Sports Group bought them 12 years ago, and they bought them for $330 million. That's what they bought them for. They're going to sell for plus $5 billion. Why would you get rid of a profit maker like that? Anyway, what's going on, Adam? Mercy Beers. Hello. Cuvée. Well, Cuvée, baby. We'll do them. Also heading to Chicago this weekend for Hot Butcher's grand opening weekend. Pumped for that. Very, very cool. And it says, I am a man of simple taste. I just want 40% Imperial Brown Asian Woodford Reserve. Very simple, man of simple taste. Okay. So we're through that. Yeah, they have a bunch of, they have all the tasting notes that I would assume you'd want to run through when it comes to something like this. You know what I mean? From your spicy to roasty, and then kind of breaks it down, all that stuff. Now, this is the portion of the show which I think is probably the best. We'll kind of pop these up real quick so you can see what's going on. You're getting, I think let's look instead of guessing. Tasting experience D, so they give you an idea of what you're doing. And this is actually something I was really curious about because I think in the United States you have to label things so people know what they're drinking. So that's where I was really curious about how they get away with giving you something and you're not knowing what they're going to drink. So they actually have, sample D 322, I believe, is the bottle date. So they have to actually put that on there. So this is A, B, C, and D. And on the back, they actually have, the prerequisite government warning, but they actually have a batch number and an alcohol percentage on there. Let's get real close. My camera should be able to pick that up. So it's 500 mils. So you're talking about 1.7 ounces per thing. So you're talking about 3% alcohol in this one over here. I'm curious if they're all going to say that, just out of curiosity. 48. Nope, they're all different. So you're getting these nice little bottles kind of all set up for you to do your little tasting thing on. There you go. And the shtick, and I say that loosely because the shtick is actually the same shtick I do, which is you don't know what you're drinking. So you're going to drink your A, B, C, and D. You're basically going to drink them, talk about them, guess them, think about what you like, what you taste, what you think is the best. And then when you're done, you get a QR code. Okay? You're more than welcome to scan my QR code to see what I'm going to be drinking before I drink it. I will not do that. And that's going to tell you actually what you're drinking, which is a really cool way to actually do it. Because for a couple of reasons. One, you actually want to know what you're drinking. That preconceived notion is gone, unless you're like a kid before Christmas and you want to know what you're drinking. You scan it before you drink it. Don't do that. That breaks all the fun out of the goddamn thing. And I'm sure, I have not scanned this, but I'm a 1,000,000,000% sure this takes you to a web shop to where you can buy these, which kind of makes sense. Which I don't mind. You know, I'm really curious to see what these are. Like I said, I'm not super well versed on the whiskey universe. Fancy inside. Look at that. I'm telling you right now, and we'll get the price in a second. I'm really curious to see what y'all say about pricing on this, because I'm very, very, very a novice when it comes to proper whiskey pricing. So we'll see what's what. Let's close this up. So basically, you get a box. You get a bunch of samples. So you get like, let's see, you get 2 ounces. Let's say 2 ounces for the sake of conversation, right? 500 CL. What's 500 CL in ounces? I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm guessing like 2 ounces. So you're getting 4 ounces of whiskey. For their price right now for a singular subscription, I believe is $60, $59.99. I had it up. I should have probably left it up. Where is it? Oh, where is it? Come on now. Yeah, $59.99. If you buy it quarterly, it comes out quarterly. It's $60. So you're talking about it's $10 an ounce. I don't know. That doesn't seem super expensive when it comes to whiskey. I could be wrong. It's $200 for if you buy it annually, so it's cheaper. So it's $50. I don't think that's a poopy deal. You do have to pay for shipping on top of that, but I'm telling you right now, I'm curious to see where their profit margins have to be in their web store. It's almost like this. I doubt this is a loss leader. I'm pretty sure they're making money on a subscription package. I don't think a ton. Their profits are probably made in their store, because this box alone by itself, the quality in this box, you take away the foam, the glass, the bottles, the box itself is very, very expensive. Like very expensive. And then all the printing, the labeling, the glass, the curation, because you can do these. This is all going to be the same, but you're going to have to print this quarterly. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do specific things. You're going to have to change some things. I don't know, man. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if it's economically viable to do it this way. But it's interesting. I actually think, and this is where I'll lean into y'all, because if you're more into whiskey than I am, maybe I think the service is relatively new, but if you've done it before, maybe, I don't know if is it a good deal? That's the thing about it. I don't know. I don't know enough about whiskey, but for me, outside of my luckily having crazy scotch from my friend, expensive bottle of whiskey for me is $100. To me, that's like, okay, now I'm spending some money on some whiskey. If I'm going to buy plain whiskey, generic whiskey, 20, 40, 50, 60, $70, once I get to $100, I'm like, okay, I'm spending money on whiskey. You know what I mean? And then you're talking about, at that point, my favorite Scotch whiskey that is affordable in New Jersey is probably Glen Ross, whiskey, and they come in the grenade bottles. They're probably, I don't even know the ounces on those, but I kind of think it's not, to experience new whiskey, have it come to your door. Sure, you have to pay for shipping. Presentation costs a lot of money, so that's has to be adding to it. But I'm sure if you taste something you like, when you scan that QR code, you're going to a site that'll get you to buy more whiskey that you can't buy anywhere else. Because that's the caveat. When they talk about their whiskey, it's like, if you go to the website, I should be sharing it. It's like basically their whole thing is whiskey you can't get anywhere else. It's like, it's basically about whiskeys that are craft and small and you won't see in a store shelf, which makes it boutique in a way. Well, not in a way, boutique-y, because you can't get it. But if you like it, then you can't get it unless you buy it from Blind Barrel. So it's a smart business plan if it works. I mean, the person who opened the company, he's a financial advisor, so obviously he understands how to make money. But I don't do these. I don't do these advert things. There's something about this that has me kind of like, I don't know. I like it. I like the presentation. I like the pomp. I like the box. Hopefully I like the whiskey. That's the most important portion of the show. And we're going to do that. We're not going to do that tonight, obviously. We'll save that for another time. It'll be its own video. We'll run through the box. We'll do a review of the whiskey. Maybe I'll throw ice in them. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Whatever I feel like doing. It's up to me. And then we'll see how it goes. So that was a fun unboxing. That's probably one of the most unique unboxings I've done in a while. So we'll see what's what. Anyway, I'm going to run through the comments, and then we're going to go. Let's see what's what. See, Cameron saying also heading to, okay, we already covered that one. 4 billion is what Liverpool has priced for the market. Yeah, it's priced 4 billion, but it's going to go for more than that. Sports teams just go insane right now. I hope with a name like Blind Barrels, they gave you something barrel aged. Well, it's whiskey. It's got to go in a barrel. Probably wet Scotch barrels. Actually, isn't it the opposite? Don't Scotch barrels get aged in whiskey barrels? Anyway, it says a dick part of my head thinks those all look like single shots you could drink in one gulp. Yeah, they do. I mean, they're not huge, but the best part about them, you can tell they're different whiskeys. Like, I don't even know if you could see. Maybe those two are close. Like it says different things in our, like, it's not going to show up on camera, but these all look like different whiskeys. So you're obviously getting something different out here. My rudimentary mind, the darkest one is always the better. But they're small. But there's also, like, to discover new things. Like if someone said, if we were to equate it into beer terms, $60 for 4 beers is kind of pricey. So let's say someone would send you 2 mixed 4-packs of local craft beer, 2 mixed 4-packs, so 8 beers, 2 mixed 4-packs of local craft beers from throughout the United States, and hazies. Let's call them. It's blind hazies. And they did the same thing, and it cost you $60. And you got 8 beers, hazies. They could be brews you heard of, brews you didn't hear of, awesome stuff, whatever. Would you pay that? Would you pay that for $60? So you're talking about $30 a 4-pack. I know you MFers spend $30 a 4-pack. So, I think you would. Anyway, I was also the kid who would read the end of the book first. Does not surprise me, Adam, at all, in any form or fashion. Am I going to keep the box? Probably not. I mean, I get a billion boxes. I like the logo and stuff. Actually, you know what I'll probably do with this box? I'll probably put like a Christmas present or something in it because it's really nice. And the people are like, what's with that weird monkey? I'd be like, don't worry about it. It's just a cool box. Let's see what else we got. Whiskey always makes me think of Jameson for some reason. Well, because Jameson is whiskey, unless you're thinking of Jenna Jameson. Such an awesome t-shirt, Albany. There you go. Fidens. I feel bad, man. I did Fidens dirty, man. I interviewed the Fidens and friends when I was up in Beer Tube Blues. I still haven't posted it. I was going to try to get it up before their anniversary, but I couldn't. So it's still going up. I just haven't edited towards background noise. I'm sorry. But you're gonna hear an interview with them on the old podcast soon enough. I'll get to it. I've edited half of it. I'll get there. Anyway, that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. This is 24 minutes long of an unboxing of whiskey on a beer tube channel. So there you go. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this unboxing. It's going to be a very fun review. I think I have one proper glass, so I'll have to find 4 glasses that are equal. Just go across. Actually, no, I know I have 4 glasses that'll work. There you go. We're going to do it. I'll have to find my little itty bitty pieces of ice so people get angry at me. There you go. Everybody, thank you very much for stopping by. Super fun unboxing. We're going to dive into this probably within the next month by Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll do this as a Thanksgiving thing. We'll see what's what. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this unboxing. Hopefully you enjoy some whiskey or beer right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.